Welcome to our new world in 2022. This video was created by USA Vets for Freedom. Our goal is to raise awareness about Baha'i subversion all over the world that the United States Congress supports. Many people say our world is full of chaos, disruption, and crisis, because it is. This world is full of people that live their lives conspiring against all others because they believe they were chosen to be the rulers of all things. This multi-generational, multinational group of global terrorists operates in groups all over the world under many different labels or names. They train their children to be society-disrupting activists that promote anti-Americanism. Americans are targeted for elimination by this global cult of wannabe global dictators that are willing to kill billions of other people just so they can stay in power. They even invented a new religion 160 years ago. The Baha'i religion is their new religion that openly says that they are going to convert all people to their religion and all people will speak the same common language in the near future when they control everything. The Baha'i faith started in an area of Persia that is in modern-day Iran. The faith follows the doctrine of the founding leaders, the Bab, Baha'u'llah, Abdul-Baha, and Shoghi Effendi. The Baha'i religion is the fastest growing religion in the world today. The Baha'i International House of Justice is located in Haifa, Israel. The Iranian government said this is a fake religion invented by British military intelligence during one of the many times England tried to conquer Iran. Historical accounts written by the Baha'i and by the British say the founder was a prophet of God. The British, Baha'i, and Iranian versions of history all agree that Jewish people converted to this new religion in mass numbers 160 years ago. The United States Congress has over 240 congressional records that mention Baha'i. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden introduced Senate Resolution 183 on April 28, 2021. Numerous other senators signed on as co-sponsors for this bill. The bill's title is Condemning the Government of Iran's State-Sponsored Persecution of its Baha'i Minority and its Continued Violation of the International Covenants on Human Rights. The Baha'i religion is banned in numerous other countries for reasons that are justified. When Baha'i get arrested in other countries for crimes similar to subversion, treason, and espionage, the United States government and the United Nations react by accusing those nations of violating human rights, and they impose economic sanctions on some of them. The Baha'i said they are the world's most powerful NGO. They have multiple offices at the United Nations all over the world. They said the United Nations is their second attempt at establishing a one-world government, and the League of Nations was their first attempt. Baha'i were key participants in planning United Nations Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. It's easy to find examples of Baha'i advocating for population control because they think the planet has too many people. They say the Earth can't sustain all of us. They instigate all social justice issues the media and politicians love talking about. They are advocates promoting UN climate change science that politicians use to justify unreasonable actions taken that weaken what was the successful American middle class. They instigate racial tension and they promote bizarre gender ideologies. Baha'i operate in groups they call clusters that infiltrated every industry, targeting influential positions they use to repeat the same messages that were created to corrupt our culture and people. Baha'i always had close relations with technology companies in Silicon Valley, and they have great influence over this industry today. They also work with governments, even though they claim to not be political. This is the art of war. On November 3, 2009, over 200 representatives from religious communities, environmental groups, and international agencies met at Windsor Castle to discuss strategies to promote what they called a generation change in attitudes towards the environment. The event was officially sponsored by the United Nations Development Program and ARC, the Alliance for Religions for Conservation. Prince Philip and the United Nations Secretary General attended these meetings. At COP26, Prince Charles said, "We have to put ourselves on what might be called a warlike footing." In Baha'u'llah's tablets to world rulers, he said they all need to reduce their military and armaments and they need to stop spending so much of the wealth generated by the subjects they control. Baha'u'llah's tablet to Queen Victoria was different than his tablet to the rest of the world's leaders. He commended her style of governance, saying it was ideal for a one-world government. He praised her for abolishing slavery and for placing the reins of counsel in the hands of the people. Are you confused yet? That's the point of all of this. They want everyone to live under a blanket of fog they created to prevent us from seeing the real world we live in. They say they will eradicate poverty. They say they will eradicate racism and all forms of discrimination. They started the gender equality social justice movement. And all other social justice movements the media and our government love talking about. Baha'i have a list of things they say they will fix when they get total control of the world. They never explain how they will achieve their ambitious goals. Maybe they have a secret magic wand that will fix everything as soon as they remove undesirables and re-educate everyone else living on the planet. They are also big advocates for vaccines, which doesn't make sense. If they are environmentalists and care about the planet, why do they support Big Pharma that creates a lot of pollution and byproducts from the medicines that they develop just to extend human life? If the planet is overpopulated and can't sustain the population it currently has, why use medicine to save anyone? The United Nations claims to be working on humanitarian missions or peacekeeping missions. That's what the media told all of us during our lifetime. That was a lie. That was just to get us to look the other way. The truth is, there would be peace in a lot of these regions if the United Nations wasn't there instigating problems. They put a lot of focus on migration and caring for orphans. The United Nations and the Baha'i are both prepared to care for orphans. The World Environment Commission defines sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. A one-dimensional solution adopted with mainly monetary instruments is not an effective way of solving economic problems. The law of Huquq'Allah can be considered a multi-dimensional approach to sustainability. Throughout this presentation, the phrase sustainable development and sustainability is used, keeping in mind three objectives: well-being for this generation, well-being for the future generation, and preserving the ecosystem. Abdu'l-Baha states the trouble with our economies, it's the systems and applications have been purely material instead of material and spiritual. Hence, the proposition is to consider a multidimensional approach to market equilibrium and sustainability. To create a balance in our economy, as Abdu'l-Baha states, an adjustment of means of livelihood in human society is needed, which requires a change in lifestyle for all participants in the market. Huquq'Allah can create such a balance. The concept of Huquq'Allah is that a percentage of the surplus income belongs to God. This means principles such as trustworthiness, truthfulness, and honesty should be considered and practiced by employees and employers when producing goods and services. These virtues are important for the spiritual development of individuals, resulting in producing merit goods. Merit goods benefit individuals and the whole society, or their social benefits, and more than individual benefits, such as education and vaccination. The pen truly is mightier than the sword. The evidence of this is clear because they used the pen to control the slaves for several thousand years. We are not free people. We just believe we are free because people repeated this lie enough times to make us believe it is true. We are all slaves to their system. The system we live in is controlled by the global financial controllers that force all of us to participate in a financial system that is mathematically designed to transfer wealth from the people using it to the controllers of the system. People need to observe more of our world if they want to help create a safe world for our children to experience in the future when they grow up. More people would be able to see the future we are creating if they listened to other people when they speak and if they paid attention to the world around them. Today, we live our lives blind to threats that we choose not to observe while living in the narrow vision of the future we invented with our own imaginations. If we want to change anything, people need to speak more and louder than the very few loud that have way too much power and influence. Nothing could be more important right now. Please subscribe to my station if you enjoyed this video. I am an analyst that spent the last 2 years studying our world problems. I started this project after I found out about the Great Reset in July of 2020. Before then, I was one of those people that refused to listen to anything that I thought was a conspiracy theory, which was pretty much everything people said that wasn't coming from one of the liars on TV. We need to teach our children that it is okay to disagree. It is more important to engage in the conversation than to only surround yourself with people that say things you want to hear. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.